No matter what you're going through, I know that you can stand, for your life is in His hands. Good evening. Good evening. Come on in. Good evening. Good evening to you. Gotta clear my glasses. Clear. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Come on in, tag and share. Even if the individual that can't come on at the time you tag them, they can go back and watch the replay. Good evening to you. Good evening. Come on in. Come on in. I'm going to wait a little bit longer. Come on in. Good evening to you. Guess I've had a good day. Come on in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Well, I'm going to go home. I'm not going to be with you any long. Good evening to you. Good evening to you. For those of you that this is your first time, welcome to Wisdom Wednesday. Welcome to Wisdom Wednesday. I am your host, your facilitator, Dr. Perkins, Dr. P, Coach L. If you are new, just a little bit of background. Wisdom Wednesdays are just they're small segments that I come and do on Wednesdays, just to give you a word of encouragement, just to give you something that can be an aha moment for you, just to let people know, listen, there's hope out around. There is hope. You are an overcomer. You are a winner. You can do this. Don't you quit. So there's different things that different topics that I come and I discuss each Wednesday, just to provide some type of word of encouragement, correction, instruction. How many of you know that transformation involves change? Right? And oftentimes change does not feel good. Change does not oftentimes look good. However, in order for us to move into our next, in order for us to propel into another level, change has to occur. So, renovating lives is where I do Wisdom Wednesdays through. Um, and so, if you know anything about renovating lives, just know it's building lives one piece at a time. Some of us have been broken. And how many of you know, if you may have pieces, but those puzzle pieces can be put together to make a whole puzzle? And in this life right now, even in this season, many need to be made whole again. And guess what? It's never too late. It's never too late to be made whole. I got something in my eye. It's never too late to be made whole. But I want to talk to you tonight about the lost files of sowing and reaping. The lost files of sowing and reaping. You know, oftentimes when we talk about sowing and reaping, we talk about it in the form of blessings. We talking about sowing into good ground. We talk about harvesting the fruit, the blessings of that God has for us. You know, we talk about that all the time. We talk about that all the time, but we have to remember there's another part to that sowing and reaping, and that is remembering that yes, whatever that we may sow, that we shall reap. Not only the good things, y'all, but the bad things as well. And you know, we don't understand that life is a journey. But guess what? Me, all of us, not some, have sowed some bad seeds. All of us have done things that were not right, were not upstanding, had our character to be not aligned with God, responded in a way that was not appropriate, acted in a way that was not right, have things in our heart that, guess what, shouldn't even be there. That shouldn't even be there. And we're going to hold accountable for those things. See, we think that and sometimes condone things that we know are not right. We know are not right. We have a generation that has been raised, and we call them unruly children, but they're unruly because of what was modeled before them. A lot of times they're unruly because of boundaries that were not set, of because of things that they may have seen in the household. And sometimes as adults we use the excuse, well, that's how I was raised, well, this is that, to make an excuse. But listen, we're all going to be held accountable for things that have been done or said, the way that we've acted that were not aligned with God. See, we always want to talk about the blessings of the sowing, but we got to remember those things that we have done that were not pleasing in his sight, we're going to be held accountable for. And guess what, y'all? Karma is real. That's exactly why when I see things as people intentionally go out and they doing all of these bad things to people, they're robbing, they're stealing, they're killing, they're shooting, they're doing all of that. And they may get, the individuals maybe get locked up. I don't say free such and such, this, that, and the other. Because let me tell you something. What we sow, that's what we're going to reap. And it's a sad thing that we have a lot of wickedness that is out in this world. And we as humans don't understand the power of sowing and reaping. That's exactly why, even, yes, trying to change, work towards change, this and that and the other, that's what we're supposed to do. But when circumstances come in my life, when things happen to my children or my family members of those that are attached to me, or storms and struggles come, you know what? I have learned I can't get mad. I can't do this and do that. Yeah, God is a forgiving God, but I don't know what I'm reaping, because I've sown some bad seeds in my past. I've done some bad things in my past. I've done things that were not aligned with God in my past. Yeah, I am a new creature. All things are passed away. However, we forget that what we have sown, we will reap, whether good or bad. So I come on this evening to tell you, no matter what you have sown that may have been bad, that may have been not pleasing to God's sight, that may be things that you're doing now, stuff you're harboring in your heart that's not right, ways you're treating people that you know is not right, things that you're engaging in that you know is not right. Please understand and hear me clearly. Listen to my voice. Although God is a forgiving God, He's a God that doesn't forsake us. He will not allow us to keep continuing to dwell in things that we're not supposed to. And whatsoever we reap including the bad, that we sow, including the bad, that we will reap. And we don't know how when it's coming because that reaping doesn't have a time. So when that harvest comes, we don't know when. That's why we have to listen and pay attention and focus on the word. We want to take some of the scriptures and make everything out to be blessings, this, that, and the other. Listen, Deuteronomy talk about cursings and blessings. Talks about them both. It talks about them both. I'm thankful for his forgiveness. I'm thankful that he hasn't forsaken me. I'm thankful that he has renewed things in me. But guess what? We all have fallen short of the glory of God. And we're trying to do this thing right every single day. But please do not think that just because your neighbor or your mother or your husband or your sister or whomever it is, your co-worker, does not see what may be in your heart. God sees it. And stop thinking that you can continue to get away with things. The Bible says, do we continue to dwell in sin, that his grace may abound? Just in case you didn't know, God gives grace to those that he chooses. To those that he chooses. So don't allow or don't continue to go in ways or do things that you know is not right. I'm coming to you on this evening, encouraging you, giving you warning and instruction that listen, just like in the Old Testament when it talked about how God wiped out the world because of the wickedness of people's hearts. Listen, this time he's going to do it by fire. And I'm not here to tell you that you should choose, that you should this, that, and the other, what religion that you should choose, because I can only tell you what I believe in, the true and living God. Okay? But I can tell you this time, it will be destroyed by fire. You can only be accountable for yourself. You can only be accountable for yourself and no one else. I don't care how much good deeds that you do. That is not what his judgment would be based on. And you do not want judgment day to come and he says, get away from me, for I know you not. You do not want him to turn his hand against you. You don't want to be in front and saying, for God, I did this, and God, I did that. I did this in your name. I guess, okay. Our works are not going to be the things that are judged. That's what you're supposed to do. We're supposed to do those things. But he's judging the heart. So I encourage you. I encourage you. I admonish you. I encourage you strongly to check your motives, check your heart, check what you're doing. Because people is all good until, yeah. So watch what you're sowing. Watch the ill will that you may be doing it in. And if you have to seek forgiveness, do that. Forgiveness doesn't mean you have to reconcile with whomever has done things to you. You just have to forgive. Let God usher you and lead you to do anything after that. Some of you can be riding on a thin line. We don't know when the last day is going to be. However, choose to live these days intentionally in his purpose for you, in your will, not in wickedness, not with the love of money, because even people that have all this money, they're still miserable, literally. But understand, this thing is real. And if you need to talk, you can reach out. But I want you to really think and make sure that you're sowing the right seeds so you can reap a good harvest. God bless you. May He cover you and your family. May He renew your minds. And hopefully tonight, something that I said will cause you to think and choose wisely on what you sow in this hour. Until next time on Wisdom Wednesday, be blessed and be encouraged. And I see you soon.